Herman Schultz is a human Caucasian male of American origin. He stands 5'7" and weighs 140 pounds. He sports brown hair and brown eyes. He wears a brown and red jumpsuit with a yellow shirt and mask. Additionally, he also sports a pair of goggles and shock gauntlets. Max Dillon is a human Caucasian male of American origin, standing 5'9" and weighing 135 pounds. He sports brown hair with brown eyes. He wears a green and black jumpsuit with a brown coat, as well as a black mask with the yellow Electro symbol. He also sports a pair of yellow and black electricity-conducive gloves. Herman Schultz was a young boy raised in the Bronx by a working-class family. His parents died as he was attending a trade school to learn mechanical engineering and electrical work. Herman eventually married a woman named Anna Kaufman. The two had a rocky relationship, but tried to make things work. Herman was a gifted engineer who lost his job due to a layoff, and in time of financial crisis, Herman used his talents as a master engineer to turn to a life of crime to support his family. This would come in the form of powerful earthquake gauntlets that produce powerful seismic waves. Herman would use these for several heists, teaming up with the Sinister Six several times, but always falling short due to being beaten by his greatest foe, Spider-Man. Shocker didn't remain in contact with many of his prior teammates, but there was one he always saw as a true friend. Max Dillon was an electrician for a scientific research facility who was in charge of working on electrical panels for the laboratory stasis chambers. One day, Max would be working on a panel when an explosion happened, an electrical panel attached to the chamber of an electric eel tank. The electric power of the eels mixed with the explosion imbued Max with powerful electrical conducive powers. Maxwell later found out he could expel and absorb electricity. However, unlike a hero who would use this as a chance to fix issues in the world, Max decided he could use his power for revenge and self-pleasure. Scorned now by the foolish higher-ups that allowed this to happen, he used his electrokinesis to get back against them. He would destroy the building where he gained his powers, and then devote his time to stealing money to give himself a life of luxury. Electro would rob several banks, but would always be stopped by the amazing Spider-Man. Eventually, he would meet the Shocker, and the two became a duo hell-bent on making the most money that they could. They attempted several heists, always being thwarted by Spider-Man. But something would eventually happen that would change the course of their friendship forever. Herman and Max are two of a kind. Both of them are put against industrial society in some way, Herman with the loss of his way of life, and Max by being harmed by his own trade. Both of them are men led by revenge and rejection from the world they thought they knew. So of course, the two would work together using their powers and abilities to show the world who they really were. Despite their tenacity and intelligence, they are both defeated by Spider-Man, Hellcat, Hyperion, and countless others on various occasions. While Electro would have the desire to get stronger so that he could pull off a better heist, Shocker decided that maybe he could do something different. Maybe he could be better. Shocker and Electro are both considered Tier 3 metahumans on the Shield Files ranking scale. Shocker is a gifted engineer and was able to create his own suit and shocker gauntlets by himself. He is also the world's best, self-proclaimed, safecracker. Not only is Shocker great at creating things that already exist, but he's also a skilled inventor, creating and patenting his shocker gauntlets as well as his vibro suit. Shocker possesses two vibro shock units that, when activated by a thumb trigger, can project a concentrated blast of air that has been vibrated at an intense frequency. This allows the Shocker to both effectively throw long-range vibrational punches, as well as vibrating the structure of something in order to weaken or destroy it. Holding the thumb triggers down for an extended period of time increases the intensity, speed, and even spread of the air blast. The vibro shock units were created to open safes by shaking them open silently and quickly. Shocker also has a vibrational shield that deflects blows to him and also allows to slip from his grasp. The feedback from the Shocker's gauntlets is extremely intense. The intentional test almost killed him. To guard himself from this, Shocker developed a protective costume consisting largely of yellow quilt patches designed to absorb the shock. The vibro shock units can add power to his punch via a trip hammer vibration shock, making his blows a dozen times more potent. Electro possesses the ability to bodily generate, store, and manipulate electrostatic energy, which he could release or harness for a number of effects. He was powered by the microfine rhythmic muscle contractions that normally regulate body temperature. His body could generate electricity at a rate of about 10,000 volts per minute, up to his maximum storage capacity of 10 million volts. At that point, his body automatically stopped producing electricity. As he expended his electrostatic energy, his body automatically began to recharge the stores. Electro could mentally control the amount of electricity he could discharge, anywhere from a single volt to his full 10 million volt charge. At 10 to 30 feet, his maximum charge was more than enough to murder a man. Electro could use his body as a transformer, touching an outside power source such as a generator and channeling it through his body for use. The amount of electricity he could transform above his body's maximum storage capacity is unknown. His electrostatic abilities also go to much farther abilities, such as... The simplest manifestation was the emission of a lightning-like electric arc from his fingertips, which could propagate through the air or other conductive mediums. This discharge, whose total voltage could be regulated within certain limits, traveled at the speed of lightning, about 150,000 feet per second. The curse of the electrostatic bolt, the lightning, did not always follow a straight line, since it could be influenced by conducting substances like metal or other electric fields. If his target was not grounded, his electrostatic bolt would have little effect. The maximum effective range of his bolts were about 100 feet. Electro's electrical powers also granted him certain sensory and manipulation abilities. By feeling the course of electricity through the circuitry of any electrically powered device, Electro could override the system and make the device obey his mental commands. Electro could disconnect alarm systems, control computers in a limited way, or overload any electrically controlled system that was insufficiently shielded. By using an external electrical power source to recharge his body's energy reserves, he could expend electrical energy indefinitely without diminishing his personal reserves. Due to Electro's magnetic properties, he was a walking electric aura. Him merely walking around produces a field of magnetic waves which can shock and electrocute people walking nearby.